in India, briefly discuss as to what are the things that are going wrong right now, not to criticize anyone, but to discuss solutions. Anything that you disagree with, I want you to raise your hand and disagree with me as vehemently as you possibly can. Okay? This country's politics, as we know it today, was predominantly guided by the man we call the father of our nation. How many of you know how many days did Mahatma Gandhi spend in jail? How many of you know how many days did he spend in jail? How many of you know how many days did he fast? How many of you know how many days did he go without water? Are you aware of the fact that he was fasting oftentimes? He was sometimes going without water during his fast? What is it that made you become so indifferent to the land where you were born that you decided that it was not important to know about the father of the nation, how many days did he fast, how many days did he spend in jail, and how many days did he go without water? Was that not important? When we sit down and criticize politics in the country, the real culprits are each one of us who don't care for the cost of the country, who don't care for the nation at all. And that is why things have come to the pass that they have. Here is a man I'm talking about who gave up his own clothes. And he did not put them on even when he was moving around in an extremely cold country. When he visited England for the Round Table Conference, it is not that you tried out, but how many of you have tried to venture out wearing just a loincloth on a cold winter morning? What was he doing all that for? What was he undergoing all that pain for? Was he a person who just enjoyed torturing his body, or was there something more to it? Fine, I'll just ask you a couple of questions. Can anyone point out any fact about Mahatma Gandhi's life that you think is unique? Anything about his life that you think is absolutely unique? Well, there you are. And with a young generation like yours, looking at the future of the country, how many of you would trust your own country? Do you realize what is the problem with the nation? The problem with the nation is not the politics of the nation. The problem with the nation is the young generation is a lost generation. I have lived in different parts of the world, and I want you to know that there are parts of the world where you cannot criticize the national leaders. They will not allow you to say one word out of place about their national leaders. Whereas in India, I know any number of people who speak very strong things about our national leaders, including those who gave up their own clothes for the nation, including those who gave up their own families for the nation, including those who sacrificed literally everything. Mahatma Gandhi's life was in public view, was in public glare to an extent that you and I cannot even imagine. Today, when there is a talk of one nation spying over another nation, to an extent where every telephone call is being tracked and archived, I want you to know that during his lifetime, he made sure that every word that he spoke was recorded by his secretary, Pyarelal, who used to record every conversation that Mahatma Gandhi used to engage in. Which means he had absolutely no personal life. He had absolutely no time to himself. Every minute of his belonged to the nation. A nation that forgets a man of that stature, a nation that forgets or criticizes a man of that stature, deserves the worst kind of politicians, and if we get them, well, that's what they deserve. What's wrong about that? If you are mistreated by your friend, you tell him that you don't deserve it. Am I right? If a friend is extremely harsh to you, or cheats on you, or does something that is extremely reprehensible, you say you don't deserve friends. How many of you genuinely believe that we deserve honest and great leaders? We really don't deserve them, and so we don't get them. You certainly don't get these kind of leaders as a gift. I mean, Albert Einstein wouldn't have been a mad man to say, or he certainly wasn't a mad man to say, You heard about it? Where did it start? And where did it end? Good. I want to know what was the assault tax against which he was protesting. What was the amount of money involved? What was the amount of money involved that he was protesting against, and he protested so vehemently that he shook the foundations of the biggest empire? Go and find out. Let that be the outcome of this discussion. That it's your job to find out a few things. One is, how many days did he fast? How many days did he go without water? On how many days was he in jail? And lastly, what was the salt tax amount? How much money involved? For which he protested in a manner where he shook the foundations of the most powerful empire. Today, he often brought corruption being a problem in the country. Okay, there are some people who are still against corruption. Many of them are not to be seen anymore. You know, in the last few years, some people have protested against corruption, made it a big issue to collect a lot of gathering. Am I right? I am not here to name anyone, and I am not going to do that.